Hey moms, welcome to the show. I'm excited about today's episode. I have Hannah Williams on. Now, I've interviewed her twice before for my blog where I featured her, but this is the first time she's coming onto the podcast. So Hannah worked for BuzzFeed for many years, and she made the transition to become a full-time content creator or influencer. So today she's going to talk about her transition from BuzzFeed to being an influencer. She's going to share tips. And moms, if you have passions in any field, you can become an influencer as well. So she has a lot of great information and insight to share. She's super sweet and just so down to earth, and you're going to really enjoy this episode. So let's get into it. Welcome to MOMetize Your Passion, a place for moms with big dreams and an eagerness to turn them into a thriving reality. Whether you're a mom seeking to monetize your passions, transition from a corporate job, or explore a fun side hustle, you're in the right place. I'm Terralon, a wife and mom transitioning from a top 5% sales career to become the founder and publisher of Tinseltown Mom. I wear so many hats: former actress, current writer, celebrity blogger, certified life coach, and through it all, I've discovered the power of honing our gifts, learning from our past, and using our experiences to uplift others. Join me on the show as I interview mompreneurs sharing their roadmap to their success. I'll also be giving practical business and money-making tips to guide you towards concrete ideas for generating income. Here, my hope is that you'll find inspiration from God, encouragement, and practical insights to mometize your passion. Hey moms, I just wanted to jump in really quickly to share with you an exciting announcement. I'm going to be releasing a new book soon. Now, this book is your ultimate guide to discovering your God-led passion, turning it into profit, marketing it, plus so much more. Now, if you want to stay updated on the release date, be sure to sign up for my weekly mailing list. The link will be available in the show notes. Additionally, if you're interested in joining my launch team, then you can fill out the application form, also found in the show notes. All right, moms, let's dive back into the episode. Hi, Hannah. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you face to face this time.
I know I've talked to you over the phone for my blog a few years ago, but it's nice to actually see you. You look great.
Thank you. So do you. I always, when you talk to someone on the phone, you picture what they look like.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder if she looks how I think in my head.
Yeah. Well, I remember you had, at least when you had your show and on social media, you had blue hair and green hair at one point, right?
Oh yeah. I've had all the colors, and this is my adult color. This is my grown-up phase.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
At the ripe age of 34. So.
All right, wonderful. So for those who are unfamiliar with you, why don't you just give us a little insight into who you are, how many kids you have, and how old they are?
Sure. I have 4 kids. They are 12, 9, 4, and 1.5. And I can't believe I got that right on the first try. I'm a content creator. I was at BuzzFeed for several years. I had a long-running series with them until I started branching out on my own. So I focus on food, recipes, family life, and then I do a sprinkling of food styling as well.
Yeah. So when I had you on my blog a couple of times, you were with BuzzFeed, and I think you were still with your show, Mom in Progress, right?
Yes. And I still do work with BuzzFeed, just not as a full-time employee. So I still have a great relationship with them, but just more on a contract basis.
Yeah. And how long were you with them again?
I was with them for 5 years. And I also think people don't realize this, but a lot of talent at BuzzFeed actually has full-time jobs there that is completely separate from talent work. So I was hired at BuzzFeed as a producer for Tasty to build the brand Tasty, one of the founding producers of that. And then I worked my way up to becoming executive producer of the whole Tasty brand. But at the same time, I was making my show just as a kind of fun side hustle and doing talent work with them. So I had my full-time job and then my full-time content creator.
Interesting. Wait, so when you were with BuzzFeed, the show you had Mom in Progress, that was your side hustle?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I did
100%.
not realize that.
Yeah, I think people assume because it is a lot of work to make that show. They just kind of assume that's the job. But BuzzFeed has had a lot of evolutions of talent. And now I think they're very dedicated to having just talent focus on that. But at the time when I started, everyone was just popping into whatever they wanted while having their full-time jobs.
Right. Now, so that means we need to have Mom in Progress back on. That was such a great show.
I know. Everyone asks when I'm going to bring it back. It's been probably a year since I've made it. And I don't know. I think what I'm starting to do is just make it myself instead of with BuzzFeed because their company structure has changed a lot too. So I don't know what the future of the show looks like there. But I had kind of a burnout moment of I just needed some time to regroup after having our fourth child. So yeah, now I'm finally getting back into it.
Yeah. And you're so young. You have 4 kids.
Usually you have them young or you wait. And I just
Uh-huh.
had one young and then kept having them. So I used to say, oh, I'll be 40 and my oldest will be going to college when I'm 40. Now I'm going to have to wait till I'm in my 50s because we have a 1.5-year-old.
Yeah. I mean, unless you decide to have some more.
Oh my, we are done.
Okay,
I say
you
it
are.
after every kid, but I mean it this time. She was a big, happy surprise. And that's the last one. So,
Yeah. She evened out everything.
truly, 4 is my favorite number, so I should have known. It would always be 4 kids. I come from a family of 5, so it was just destiny.
Oh, that's perfect. So what made you transition out of your role at BuzzFeed? Was it to have more life balance? Like what was your thought process with that?
Basically, I was at a certain point, I just ran out of hours in the day. And it was about 2020. I was juggling this extremely intense, high pressured full time job, my talent work with brands, and my show. So I was working 7 days a week. I would start working early in the morning before work. I'd do my full-time job and then I'd film through the evening and then all weekends. And doing this with my kids home 24/7. I just had our third child. It was just too much. I kind of hit this breaking point of what what is my priority? What deserves more of my time? And having kids, you have to think about money, you have to think about security. And I was making more money doing the content creation than I was making in my full-time job. So that definitely made it easier to make that decision. And it came to a point where I said, I need to either invest in myself fully and believe in myself or give it up because I can't keep doing both. And that
Right.
was it.
Wow. So you're a full-time content creator.
Yes. I
So
mean, I
once
do a lot of, I do food styling too. I do a lot of other stuff, but 95% content creator.
yeah, but even with your content, I think you do food videos in your content, right?
All the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So if someone is curious, like what is a full-time content creator? You're creating it just for social media or do you create content for other platforms as well?
Social media is the focus. It's the priority for sure. And I'm still working on this to this day, finding a balance between original content and advertisements for brands. I work a lot with brands just because as a mom, I use a lot of brands. So I work with a lot of food brands, and like some kids baby focused brands. So I'm creating for them organically for their pages. I'm creating for my page. I'm trying to have a healthy balance of organic content. And right now I'm just getting back into my YouTube channel. So I think YouTube is going to have a big resurgence. I'm predicting it now just because we've been so focused on short form with these social apps that now that TikTok has 10-minute features, I feel like people are going to be getting back into YouTube. So I'm resurfacing my YouTube channel.
Yeah. Well, I always say to moms, because I love encouraging moms to pursue their passions and monetize them. And I always say long form content is where it's at. Like
Yeah.
social media is great, but just because they just show it to just a small percentage of your audience, they don't get to see all of your content. Like I feel like long form, like YouTube or a podcast or a blog, like gives you more organic following. So that's great that you're going to boost up your YouTube channel.
Yeah, and it provides a lot more context, and social media like Instagram and TikTok is just a little snippet, and then I think the long form provides a lot more of yourself, and you can
Mhm.
really get to know the people who are watching your content
Mhm.
and get to know what they like and what they are interested in, so you can adapt what you're making too.
Yeah, you can even bring back your show on YouTube.
I'm shooting right now
Oh,
4 videos at the same time. That's
what?
how I am for YouTube. That's really reminiscent of the show. So, like, the concepts are very reminiscent.
That's so awesome because you're so natural. And I love how you get your kids to participate in your videos. Like, I think it's going to do great.
We have so much fun. They honestly, when we stopped, it was me and me alone. Just had burned out to a crisp. So my kids have been like, when are we going to do it again? When are we going to do it? I'm like, the internet's always evolving and changing. And so I feel like I'm trying to get a grip on what the internet is like today versus when I was making the show really in the thick of it, and
Mm,
adapting how I present content, how I show my kids, stuff like that,
right.
before I dive back into it. So
Yeah.
I feel
No,
like we're
that
in a
makes
good place
sense.
now.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, what does a typical day look like for you as a content creator? Let's say you have a full plate and it's a full day. Like, what does that day look like?
Usually my really full days are shoot days. I will have campaigns sometimes that are multiple pieces of content for one big campaign. So I will try to block shoot. I have ADD. So once I get started, I have to just keep going and like take advantage of that little burst of energy and excitement. So I'll try to block shoot. So most of my busiest days, I'm shooting 2 or 3 recipes at a time. And then because I hate editing, that's my least favorite part of creating content, then I'll block edit everything. So I try to stack it because also I'm home with my kids at the same time. I'm creating all this content around my kids. Even my older kids are homeschooled. So I'm taking advantage of the quiet time as well. So it's basically just morning till night until the daylight goes away, shooting recipes, and then
Yeah.
clean up after the sun goes down.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like 10 hours.
Yeah, it takes a long time. When you think about, just all the stages, especially with food content, there are so many stages and phases of recipes you need to show, and it can take a really long time to capture everything. And also, I am clumsy. I forget things, and so I'm very much like human when it comes to making this content. So I'll be like, I have to start it all over because I forgot the eggs or something like that.
Yeah, you're so detailed with those videos.
Yeah, because I mean, my goal in the food content is just to make it fun and approachable. So I want to show all the steps. I want to make everyone watch it and be able to see, okay, I could do that. Because if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. Well, I know when I do one video, let's say, because sometimes I do work with brands as well, like for an ad or whatever. It
Yeah.
takes me hours sometimes to do one video, including the editing, like for a 30-second or 60-second video. So I'm
Oh, yeah.
imagining you're shooting all these different angles with your food, editing, and all that, how long it could take. That's a
Oh my
lot of
gosh. And I
time.
have about 30 minutes of footage for this 60-second video.
Yeah.
And you're doing, the shooting, the editing, the voiceover, all of that. And then usually they want me to edit a song in as like a placeholder. So it's a whole, like, you're transferring footage, you're transferring it back, you're uploading it. It can
Wow.
take, I mean, when it comes to brands, I think I'm a lot more careful and a lot more detail oriented. But when it's for my own, I'm trying to just have fun with it and stay
Right.
inspired. So it's definitely a different vibe from content to content.
Right, right. So do you have a team that works with you, or is it just you by yourself?
It's just me.
It's just you and the kids.
Yeah, and the kids are welcome to join in. They're kind of always hovering if I'm making food. So it's very organic in my house with whatever we make. But I just I think I have a very clear and specific way that I want it to be and the way that I want it to look. And so it's just with the workload I have and with how streamlined it is to create things now, it's easy for me to just do it by myself.
Yeah. Now, do you have a manager that manages your brand deals, or how do you work that out as far as who you're going to work with?
Yeah, I have to have a manager because if somebody asked me for my rates, I'd say, $2. I'll do it for free. Whatever. Like, no, I'll give you money. It's okay. Like, I cannot represent myself. So I have a manager. I have a legal team that I run contracts through. I definitely have so much support when it comes to the finances. And even like my husband does all the accounting for my business because I just can't. I'm food, I'm creative. I
Mm-hmm.
can't deal with the grown-up stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have a lot of support in that way.
Oh, good. So
Yeah.
you have a legit content creation business, and a lot of moms want to do what you're doing. Now, for a mom listening and she wants to start doing content creation, let's say that's her passion to show up online and, showcase whatever talent she has or represent whatever brand she wants to represent. How would you start something like that?
I mean, I'll say first that as moms, I think we can literally do anything we put our minds to. We are some of the most powerful people on this earth. So if you want to do it, I believe you can make it happen. Anybody who wants to do that. Um, and I hate to say this because I hate the idea of hustling, but with content creation, it is a volatile industry. You kind of just never know how you're going to do until you're in the thick of it. So I would recommend keeping it a side hustle until you know that you're meeting your financial goals, because I've seen some people just pour it all into that, put all their eggs in that basket before they really know what's going on or how they're going to fare. And they end up a little disappointed. Um, and also representation is key. Having key people in your corner, really vetting agencies and managers as people who care not only about making you money, but the health of your page and the health of your content and your audience. Because
Mhm.
some managers and some agents will just try to bully you into doing whatever campaign, regardless of whether or not it's a fit for you. Um, and authenticity is always the key to making content. So finding representation that genuinely cares about you and the health of your page is really important.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I think just the last thing that we all need to be really mindful of if we're making family content and we're parents showcasing anything having to do with our kids is keep safety top of mind. That's number one for me, is safety, because the internet is evolving so much and I'm constantly learning about new things and new safety guidelines and guardrails. In California itself, it's really strict about filming with kids. I don't know if everyone follows those rules, but I certainly follow all of those rules beyond, because I think that's just the most important thing, is making sure our kids are having a happy, healthy childhood while we're having fun making content. It shouldn't be content priority and kids second.
Yeah. Are you in California?
Yeah.
Okay, like what are some of the things that people may not realize when it comes to filming their kids?
Legally, kids cannot be directed without a studio teacher present or at least dialed in on the internet. You need someone, and a studio teacher is an advocate for that child. They're making sure that they're not missing school. They're making sure that they are safe. They're making sure that the kids are getting adequate breaks, just all of those regulations that you should have when you're working with kids. And then
Yeah.
I I could be I always I thought my kids have Coogan accounts. My kids get paid when they are expected to be in a campaign, or if they want to join in on something like that. Um, they get paid and they have Coogan accounts that parents can't touch. No one can touch until they're 18. And apparently you don't have to put 100% in it, but I always put 100% of all their earnings in this account because I think that's a cool nest egg for them to have when they do become adults and, have a little leg up on going into adult world.
Yeah.
So those are a few that I can think of in California, but it is very much against the law to make your kids do anything without having a studio teacher present. And I mean, in my opinion, they always need to be paid if they're participating at all.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, my husband works in the entertainment industry, so those sound like on-set rules. So you bring those same rules into your household, and that's how it should be when we're filming our kids.
Yeah, and especially with YouTube content, like working with BuzzFeed, we always had that rule as well. And I think also on top of it, I keep it optional. So if they don't want to do it, even if they're hired to do a campaign, if they don't want to do it, they don't have to do it. And if they're having a bad day, they don't have to do it. It's never like, I just want their mental well-being to come first. So they're never expected to do anything.
Yeah.
Even if they're hired.
Right. Right. So let's say there's a mom, let's say she has 500 followers and she wants to do what you do. I'm assuming she's not going to be able to get a manager at that level. Like, how does she go from the 500 followers to maybe where you are? And I know it took years for you to get to where you are. You built this up, but just like as a starting point, like, do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, I think consistency is something I need to work on, but I'll tell other people to do it too. Consistency is key. Really staying true and authentic to yourself is the most important. They don't like when someone seems fake or someone is pretending. So really look at yourself, your interests. What do you want to contribute? What do you want to achieve? For me, I want to make moms smile. I want to make motherhood feel normal instead of this crazy high standard of everyone has to be perfect. And so that's what I really am always keeping at the core when I'm ideating content is this true to me? Is this true to what I want to do with my platforms? And I think that is honestly the one thing that helped me succeed was just always keeping it so real and not putting on a show, because I never sought out being a content creator. I never wanted to do this. It just kind of came to me and it was a big surprise. So that's how I think it was just spontaneous, and that it worked for me. So I think it would work for anybody else.
Yeah. So what kind of content would you say, let's say a mom, she's not sure what type of content she should put out. Do you have any recommendations there?
I mean, I started by telling stories about funny things my kids had done and just funny universal truths about parenthood. So definitely speaking to the universal truths of motherhood or parenthood or being around kids is something that really resonates with everybody. I just recently started doing some videos about my husband's beige flags that are just
I saw that.
quirks.
That was hilarious.
They're definitely resonating with people, and a lot of people can relate to that. So I always try to look for the funny and the fun, even in stressful situations. And I think those moments are the ones that definitely attract the most viewers. Also, if you're passionate about cooking or organizing or styling in your home, like whatever it is you're passionate about, as it doesn't have to be typical mom stuff. Even it can be, what are you outside of motherhood? Those always, I think, translate the most on the internet because you're passionate about it. You're speaking very authentically about it, and that will attract more viewers.
Yeah.
So don't overthink it. Anytime I overthink a video, it does badly.
No, that's good, especially the authenticity part, because it's hard to be authentic on social media, to be honest. So I think you have to kind of get to a certain place where you feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
So, but I see how that is important to doing well.
For sure. And I didn't even realize because I think, again, I have never sought it out as a career. I just don't think about everything that I'm showing. And I would get a lot of comments saying, it's so refreshing to see your house messy. And I'm like, I didn't even realize my house was messy. But okay. Because I just, I'm not tidying up the background to make content. I'm just in my house. I'm living my life. And people like that.
It looks like you're in a sauna right now, your background. Are you in a sauna?
No. This is my little shed where I work.
Oh, that's so nice. So that's like your office?
Yeah, it's kind of a multi-purpose little cabin.
Yeah, it's like a little cabin. Yeah, it's nice.
It does look like a sauna.
At first, I thought that was a towel over there. You were going to go in the
Oh my
sauna.
gosh, wouldn't that be so? We get on the video and I'm just nude in my sauna.
Oh my goodness.
No, it's like there's a pull-out couch, and so the big kids will come up here to do movie nights because they feel grown up.
I love that.
From the house.
That's so nice. I love it.
It's fun.
So just getting back to that mom who wants to do what you want to do. Now, how should she go about making money, maybe getting her first sponsorship deal if she has a small following, she doesn't have a manager? And then also, how would she get a manager? Like, at what level do you have to be to actually get a manager?
So definitely have an email address in your bio so that brands can reach out. I get a lot of outreach on my emails. And then I will forward that to my manager and she'll negotiate. But when you're first starting out, that's a great way to just gauge brand interest and see who's reaching out to you. Another way to get brands' attention is to start talking about your favorite brands. And I think roundup of product recommendations are great, especially for parents. It's one of the most asked things for me is product recommendations and what I think is necessary, because moms are marketed literally everything. So that definitely catches brands' eyes. And then also creating content when you're thinking about it. If it's recipe content, it's really easy to slot in brands there. But if it's other content, just think about, is there an opportunity for me to make a series out of this and incorporate brands organically into this content that I'm making? That's definitely, food for me has been a really easy space because I'm always at the grocery store. I'm always buying groceries. I'm always buying food. So that's just been the easiest way for me to incorporate different brands. And yeah, then once you get, I'd say over 10K followers, start to just look at agencies and managers. All these agencies have different thresholds. A lot of them are very interested in what they call, I guess, micro influencers who have a smaller following, but don't be discouraged if you have a smaller following. You usually have better engagement than some of these huge accounts, and your content will resonate a lot deeper with your viewers because they're just so much more engaged. So I would just look at the biggest brands, I would look at the biggest management companies first, see what their threshold is, just ask around. Honestly, send out emails. That's how I found my manager, was just sending a cold email saying, hi, I need help. So, but definitely don't be discouraged by the number of followers you have, because there are a lot of management companies interested in reaching those. I call it like a concentrated audience.
Yeah. And there's also a lot of companies that are looking for influencers that they don't even know how to find the influencers. So you can actually, I've done this before. You reach out to a brand that you're interested in, as you mentioned, and just see if they're looking for influencers, because they.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And I would never say that because I am such a wuss. Never do that.
I have a strong sales background, so I'm always like trying to hustle and,
That is so smart though. I should do that.
Seriously, you could really do it, Hannah. You have over 200,000 followers, right?
Yeah, on Instagram.
Yeah. So there's a lot of brands that would want to work with you. See, I could be your manager.
I know. Oh my gosh, let's do it. And I've honestly gotten to work with with some of my dream brands I never thought I'd ever be able to work with. So
Oh, like what? Can you say it? Can you mention some of them?
Some of my dream brands?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. McCormick Spices,
Mm.
that has been so much fun. I've done a lot of work with Albertsons. I'm like a fangirl over grocery stores. So I do a lot of Albertsons and Walmart. And I fangirl over it because I'm there all the time. And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
wait, I'm a big fan. So those are always huge for me. And then I've done some cool, trying to think.
Prego or ragu. I think you did like a spaghetti one time or something, some sort of pasta. I remember you did.
I don't remember anything.
I just remember getting a recipe from you for something spaghetti, chili spaghetti or something like that. It was something very unique. I remember. See, you don't remember all. You work with so many.
I just have a terrible memory because I swear each kid ages me 50 years. So I'm like, what?
No, you're only 34.
What did I do yesterday? I don't know. I called my mom the other day being like, I'm having senior moments. Like do I have Alzheimer's? And she's like, shut up. So Subaru was a really cool one. I've gotten to go to like movie premieres. That always just blows my mind when I go to a movie premiere. Like, I got to bring my older kids to Wonka. And it was the LA premiere, and I was just standing there like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. I used to be a brand ambassador for Peanuts back in the day. That's something you can do to become a brand ambassador. And they used to like fly me to like the Peanuts Museum and interview the actors. We would go to premieres and all types. It was so fun, like with the kids during that season.
That's amazing. See, that's what gets you the cool mom points too. But really, I tell anyone if I can do it, anyone can do it, because I've never been cool in my life. I've never been the popular girl. I'm just like a really weird, boring person.
It doesn't seem like it at all. At all.
Boring and weird. And I just have like niche interests. And if I can do it, anyone can do it, because that's what it is. I think we're past the time of idolizing, extreme wealth or extreme like fame and stuff like that. I think it's coming more down to earth. So this is the time. Take your shot, just do it. Just try it.
Absolutely.
And believe in yourself. You have to have confidence in yourself.
Absolutely. And before we end, just really quickly, because some may be wondering, how much could someone make becoming a content creator? Let's say they're working with a brand. A lot of these brands, they just want to give you a free product in exchange for you advertising for them. And I always say, I think you should get paid, because the advertisement is going to be on your Instagram feed forever and you didn't get paid for it. But what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, they'll always try to offer you free product first. And that's why representation is really important once you get to a certain threshold of followers, because you have to know your worth. I mean, you can get paid anywhere from, I have a lot of friends who are more successful than I am. And they get, $20,000 for a reel. And some people can make like 500. Once you get bigger, you can make like $20,000, $30,000 for one piece of content. So really the ceiling, there is no ceiling.
Yeah.
It's just however hard you want to go, however big you can get and how much you can grow, the ceiling isn't there. You can make however much money you want.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Hannah. Now, where can people find you if they want to learn more about you and see your wonderful content?
Well, I'm at Hannah Lily Williams on everything, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. And I hope to see you there.
Thanks so much for listening today. If you're enjoying this show, would you do me a huge favor and share it with another mom who can benefit from listening to this podcast? As you know, this show is meant to be a blessing to mothers, so any support would be so appreciated. Until next time.